Phelan Albright, course SPCE 316, section 801, instructor Vincent Lamarca. Today's date is February 27th, 2025. Hold on. Research in which specific observations or hypotheses are derived from general principles or theories. Pass. Deductive strategy. Research in which replications of experimental conditions occur at the level of the individual subject. Idiographic research. Nope. A behavior is scored as occurring if it occurs during any point during the observation period. Partial interval recording. Traditional non-quantitative method of inspection of level, trend, and overlap of data to evaluate treatment effects in a single subject data. Visual analysis. The repetition of a research study to determine whether the basic findings of the original study can be generalized to other participants or circumstances. Pass. Replication. Information obtained from the client or the client's family, friends, coworkers that serves to demonstrate effectiveness of a treatment. Social validity. Time. Research in which general principles are derived from specific observations. Pass. Inductive strategy. An arithmetic average calculated by adding scores together and then dividing the sum by the number of scores added. Mean. The height of the data being presented in each phase can be described as moderate, high, or low, level. Method of observation in which a specified time period is subdivided into shorter blocks and observation occurs systematically for each block. Time sampling. Nope. Interval recording. When a result would occur less than 5% of the time if the populations were identical, statistically significant. The amount of fluctuations in the data can be described as high or low variability. A potential threat to internal validity of an alternating treatment design in which the effects of the treatment interact with subsequent treatments. Pass. Multi-treatment interference. Dimension of a behavior consisting of magnitude of strength, intensity. The slope of the data being presented in each phase can be described as ascending, descending, or zero-accelerating trend. A method of experimental control in which the order of treatments in an alternative treatments design is varied across experimental phases to eliminate order effects. Counterbalance. A multiple baseline design in which all baseline measures are taken simultaneously. Concurrent multiple baseline design. A single case research design that includes one baseline followed by several treatment in which the target behavior must meet or exceed increasingly challenged pre-specified criteria. Changing criterion design. A method of experimental control in the alternating of treatments is not predictable but occurs randomly during intervention phases. Randomization. A behavior is scored as occurring only if it occurs at the end of the observation interval. Momentary time sampling. An objective method of calculating the amount of correspondence between observers' reports. Inter-observer agreement. When a measured behavior or dependent variable exhibits stability over time with little to no upward or downward trend. Steady state. Dimension of behavior consisting of time between an antecedent stimulus and the onset of behavior. Latency. When a noticeable real world change in client symptoms or behavior is produced. Socially significant. Nope. Clinical significance. An adaptation of the multiple baseline design in which brief probes or baseline measures are taken prior to intervention and sometimes as follow-up measures because prolonged baseline phases or repeated dependent variable measures are impractical. Multi-probe design. Dimension of behavior consisting of a number of responses occurring during a period of time. Response rate. A quantitative assessment of the amount of overlap expressed in a percentage between baseline and treatment data. Non-overlapping percentage data analysis. Research in which replications of experimental conditions occur across two or more subjects. Intersubject replication. A testable statement about a relationship between two variables. Hypothesis. The act of hearing, seeing, feeling, or otherwise coming into contact with some stimulus in the environment. Observation. Single subject design in which baseline A phases are alternated with treatment B phases. Withdrawal design. Unnatural behavior that people adopt in response to being observed by others. Reactivity. A variable that is expected to change based on the introduction or manipulation of the independent variable. Dependent variable. A probability distribution of scores on a variable in which scores are symmetrically distributed about a sample mean. Normal curve. An interval recording strategy in which a specified time period is subdivided into shorter blocks and observation occurs systematically for each block. Time sampling. The tendency for an observer to provide inaccurate measures of behavior over time. Observer drift. Studies in which data are aggregated across many subjects and inferences are drawn on the basis of between group comparisons. Group designs. Single case research design in which two or more interventions are alternated rapidly to compare relative effectiveness. Pass. Alternating treatment design. Dimension of behavior occurring consisting of time from onset to offset of the behavior. Duration. Changes in non-targeted behaviors that may be functionally similar to the behavior that being targeted for intervention. Behavioral cusp. Nope. Behavioral correlation. Repeating a study by exactly duplicating the experiment procedures with different subjects. Pass. Direct replication. Normal systematic upward and downward cycles or trends often seen in behavior, even under baseline conditions prior to manipulation of variables. Behavior cyclicity. Single case designs in which only one phase change from baseline to intervention AB occurs but is replicated across either subject settings or behaviors. Pass. Multiple baseline design. The extent to which an independent variable or intervention is delivered in a manner consistent with this operationalization. Treatment integrity. The extent to which changes in the dependent variable can be inferred to be due to the manipulation of the independent variable. Study. Pass. Internal validity. Behaviors that, although not specifically targeted for change, may have important and broad consequences in a specific setting for client. Behavioral covariation. Behavioral cusp. Research that utilizes observation and measurement at the level of the individual subject with no intention of establishing general laws. Idiographic research. An adaptive ongoing interplay between an organism and its immediate environment. Behavior. A period of observation of the target behavior in its natural state prior to manipulation of the independent variable or intervention. Baseline. Dimension of behavior consisting of a lasting or permanent impact on the environment produced by the behavior. Environmental byproducts or permanent products. A measurement strategy or tool that renders consistent and accurate measures of a variable. Reliability. When findings of a study can be applied in other settings under different conditions or with different participants. Generality. Nope. External validity. A variable that is controlled by the researcher and its effects are measured by changes on the independent variable. Definition of a research variable based on the operations used to measure the variable. Operational definition. A multiple baseline design in which separate baseline data are not collected at the same time. Non-concurrent multiple baseline design. Research that collects and aggregates data across subjects for the purpose of establishing general laws. Nomothetic research. A behavior is scored occurring only if it occurs during the entire observation interval. Whole interval recording. Repetition of an experiment but with some specified difference from the original experiment. Deductive replication. Nope, systematic. A non-experimental practice in which detailed information is collected before during the course of treatment. Pass. Case study. This extent to which the findings of a particular study can be extended into larger population. Pass. Generality.